Okay, students, in problem number 6, there's a lot of ways you can go about this problem, actually. I see numbers and I see an equation, so instantly I'm thinking to myself, I could substitute. And you could also factor this. And I'll do a combination of both. And I'll show you a few things that I see. Now, see, in this case, I'm actually looking for the height. See, the H is height. And height is related to time. I mean, the thing is, I can only get height only, the height I'm going to get is only related to how many seconds that ball is in the air. I mean, if the ball is in the air for 1 second, it's going up a certain amount of height. If the ball's up for 2 seconds, it's going to be even higher than that. If the ball's up 3 seconds, it's going to be even higher than that. So height is, you only get height only because you have time. That's why the two are together. I wouldn't worry about that. You could substitute that with 80. See, because that's our height. So even though it says h parentheses t close parentheses equals negative 16 t squared plus 96t, plus 96t, I can still replace this height with 80. So I'm going to copy this, and now I'm going to remove h of t, and I'm going to replace it with 80. Now, what do they all have in common? I notice one thing they all have in common right now. They all have a greatest common factor. They all have 16 in common. So what would happen if I divided each number by 16? Well, 80 divided by 16 would be 5 equals, and negative 16 divided by negative 16 would just be negative 1 t squared. And 96 divided by 6 would be 6t. So from here, I would start substituting. So let's find out. Now, be careful. In this question, it asks you how many seconds did the ball first reach 80 feet. See, because remember, I'm throwing a ball in the air. Okay, I could throw a ball in the air 80 feet. And it's going to hit 80 feet twice. Once on the way up and once on the way down. So we want to have the first time it reaches 80 feet. So there might be a situation to where you might have two answers that work. But we're only looking for the smallest of the two numbers because we're looking for the first time on the way up. That would be the least amount of seconds. So let's start substituting. Well, I can substitute 0. So let's see if 0 would work. So I could replace t with 0, and then this is just the whole thing would be 0, and this whole thing would be 0. I don't think that's going to work very well. So let's try something else. Let's try 1. So I'll replace t with 1, and I'll replace 6 with 1. Okay. So I have 5 equals, well, what is 1 times 1? Well, 1 times 1 is just 1. And 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. And 6 times 1 is 6. And negative 1 plus 6 is 5. Looks like that works. Looks like B will be my answer. I hope this helps.